Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Mind Body Blend. We're in the month of November 2024. And the Tuesday classes this month the theme is strength and stretch. So we're taking a couple of muscles or muscle groups and we're working on strengthening those with optional hand weights. And then we're stretching through those muscles as well. So that nice combination of strengthening and lengthening. So the hamstrings and the glutes are on tap for today, and they really do work together as a team. The hamstrings have two attachments. They bend the knee for us, so they attach behind the knee, but they also extend the hip back. So hip extension and knee flexion, the hamstrings are responsible for. The glutes also extend the hip back. So when we're doing an extension movement, we're using both of those muscles at the same time. We also have a glute on the outside, which does some abduction or moving away from the body. And then we also use the glutes to do rotation. So if we have our knee up and we pull outward, we're going to feel the glutes too. So we're working through some different patterns of movement as we strengthen those muscles and then stretch them towards the end of class. So let's start with a little bit of Tai Chi inspired movement, but my main focus is on balance. So I don't want you to get too confused about what the hands are doing. If you want to leave arms out, that's fine as well. But we're going to be doing a movement with the arms that's called brush knee. So I'd like for you to take your right hand and push your palm forward. Take your left hand and push your palm down to the floor and pull your elbow back a little bit. So I'm pushing with the right, pulling back with the left. And then I just want you to swap those movements. So push forward with the left and back with the right. And we'll switch and switch. Nothing with the legs so far, just getting used to this movement with the arms. Good, 2 more on each side. Dave, could you maybe put away Treacle for me? He's going to be noisy through class today, so thank you so much. Excellent. Okay, so let's keep the left one in front. Stand on your right foot, pick up the ball of your left, and then, or put up the heel of your left, and we're going to tap the toe forward and then tap it back. And as you tap it forward, push the brush knee, and as you tap it back, other side. So the foot and the hand is in opposition as it's to the front and to the back. Good. Now, with any of the balance movements, if you need to have a hand on a wall or chair rather than doing the arms, that's absolutely fine. Good. Forward and back. Just one more on this leg. Forward and back. Come back to center. Let's relax those arms for a moment, maybe a shoulder roll. And then we have brush knee and brush knee. Getting that movement going, and I'm pulling back with the fingertips. So I'm feeling a little bit of some tension in my wrists and forearms. So now we'll stand on the left leg, and then we tap and switch. So when the right foot's forward, the left hand is forward. Now, even though this movement's called brush knee, it's almost like brush hip. So we're brushing the hand next to the hip as we switch. Also, if you're struggling a little bit with balance with this, you can tap the middle toe or the toe in and then step it back. So if you need to take an intermediate tap, that's fine as well. Great, let's do 2 more on this brush knee. And 1 more. Come back to center and relax. So let's roll the wrists a little bit. I'm feeling some tension in the wrists. I'm also feeling some nice work in the lower legs with that balance work. Now, one of our balance poses we've worked on for a couple years now is called tandem stance. So let's step with the right foot forward, the left foot back. Now, if you need some assistance with balance, you can have your feet any distance apart. But a true tandem stance is to put one foot exactly in front of the other. So we're going to take the arms forward, out, and down. And forward, out, and down. When the arms are forward, the left leg's going to be, or right leg to the front, then we're going to tap out and close. So we go forward, and I want you to step all your body weight on the foot, then tap, then down. Good. It's also a good idea to lead with the heel. I didn't mention that when you step forward, to strike the heel first. Out. Good. Tandem stance. Toe tap. Down. One more. Balance. Abduction to work that glute. Good. Let's just do the arms again. Forward, out, and down. Stand in tandem stance. Just stay there with your feet as we move the arms. Out and down. Good. Woo! It's almost like you're slalom skiing, right? One foot totally behind the other on a single ski. Okay, now let's open it out and bring it in. Strike the heel. Step all your body weight on the foot. Well, not all of your body weight, but I want you to come into full contact and out and in. And we're trying to line up the toe and the heel for that tandem stance. 3 to go. 2 and 1. Now let's alternate sides. So we step forward with the right, out, together. Step forward with the left, out, together. You're choosing your own pace with this. Option not to use the arms. You can hold on to a wall. 3 more on each leg. It's just a wonderful way to warm up the shoulders and the hips while we're working on balance and agility. Good. 1 more on each side. Excellent. And relax. Okay, I'm going to use my chair for a little bit of balance here as we warm up through the hamstring and glute and do some actions for those muscles. So first I want you to bend your right knee and try not to let the knee come forward. So notice I'm not changing the alignment of where my upper leg is. I'm just bringing that leg back and straightening. So our hamstring is firing from the attachment behind the knee joint. Sometimes when we activate our hamstring like this, it wants to grab and cramp a little bit. So go slow. Be careful. If you do feel a little cramping, then stretch it out and come back in. Okay, so let's bend and hold this bend. With your foot flexed, push back and bring it in. So we're holding the hamstring at about a 90-degree angle at the knee, and then we're coming into hip extension by firing the glute as well as firing the hamstring from this attachment at the sitting bone. This also helps us elongate our hip flexor, so try not to bend over because then you lose that stretch in the front of the leg. Now press it back and hold. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see now what my body's going to do here. So we have the knee bent. We're pushed back and we're going to open out and come in. So we're firing and adding that abduction. So the knee is bent, the leg is back, and we lift out to the side and come in. Good. Standing really tall, pulling the abs in. 5 more here. Excellent. 4. Your standing hips should be feeling a little bit of work as well to stabilize your body. 2. and 1, and then come in and release. It was really hard for me to keep my leg back, so I don't know if that was the same for you. Okay, you can stay facing that way, but I want you to be able to see this leg really well, so I'm going to turn around. So just the knee bend, and then straighten. Bend. Good. This is my knee replacement side. It's really interesting how much different it feels when I'm doing this. It takes maybe about 3 or 4, and then it starts to feel a little bit more natural for me on this knee replacement. Now, on the leg you're standing on, that right leg, make sure you're not locking out your knee joint. You don't want to have a lot of bend, so we're not doing it here, but I want you to have a little softness in your knee. Check your posture. Let's do 2 more. And then hold it at the bend in the knee. Push it back. Now, I don't want you to feel this in your lower back. So sometimes when we push back, we're trying to, push our back into an arch a little bit to get more range of motion. But I don't want you to feel it in your lumbar spine. I want you to feel it in your rear and a gentle little stretch for the front of your hip. We'll apply an exhale as we push back. And 2 more. My standing hip is definitely talking to me, but in a good way. And then let's hold it back in that position, and then we'll open the leg out to the side like a little doggy fire hydrant. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it, right? Or a little fire hydrant. And again, what we're not doing is letting the knee come forward and do this here in front. So keep it back, open, and close. 5 more. 4. And if you're doing this correctly, you should be feeling it. No weight even needed, no extra workload or resistance. 1 more. Press back and then relax. Okay, I'm going to place the chair back over to the side. Let's grab heavy workload for deadlifts. So when I said that the hip extends back and uses the glute, it also extends it by bringing your upper body up, if that makes sense. So you can move those muscles either by moving the leg or moving the upper body and still getting the same effectiveness. So our traditional RDL stands for Romanian deadlift. We have the weights in front. Keep your spine long and just tip forward without rounding your back and come up. So from here up to here is where I want you to really feel this in your glutes and in your hamstrings. And again, they're working together. They're really strong muscles. Sometimes the glute doesn't fire properly and your hamstrings do more than the work, and vice versa. So I want you to think about backs of the legs as well as the butt as you pull up. Even giving a little extra squeeze right at the top. Engage. Adding our breathing, we'll inhale as we tip forward. Exhale as we come up. Now, I like to do RDLs in a very safe range of motion for the lower back. So you'll notice I'm stopping right at about my kneecaps. What we don't want to do is to go all the way down to the floor. For most of us, it's not a safe environment for our low back. So right about the knees, or you can go slightly lower than the kneecaps if you have that flexibility in your hamstrings. Your head stays neutral as well as the rest of the spine. Good, 1 more time. And come up, roll the shoulders. So as we do these today, if you want to add more arm movements in, you can certainly do that by adding a dead row. But today my emphasis is just on the lower body, so I'm just going to demonstrate just the deadlift. So now we're going to split our stance. So the right foot is in front. Bend both knees a little bit. Keep your palms facing in. And now go down and pull up. I'll do this from the side. So all it is a split stance RDL, or Romanian deadlift. So the muscles are working a little bit differently here. Your back leg hip is going into a little bit more extension than your front leg. So if you can feel that when you come up, I want you to squeeze the glute of the back leg a little bit more. So concentrate on that left glute as you pull up. And like I said, you can add any other arm movements. So just a suggestion would be to add a row here, or maybe a bicep curl as you come up. But I'll just leave all of that up to you today. So both legs are working our hamstrings as well, but which one would you say is getting more of a stretch? You're right. Yeah, the right one. That front leg is lengthening a little bit further. It's almost like a baby pyramid from yoga. Good, let's do 2 more here. I'm not really counting. I'm kind of going with my own body on how I'm feeling for fatigue. Okay, and switch legs. And that being said, you can do the same thing. If you want to do a few more or a few less based on your fatigue, that's delightful. Okay, so both toes are facing forward. We're in our split stance. Bend both knees a little tiny bit, and then we come down and we pull up, and you're really going to squeeze the right glute when you come to the top. Really tighten it. Adding our breathing, we inhale down, exhale up. And it's really important here that you don't let your sitting bone tuck under when you go down. So you're actually slightly tipping your pelvis back behind you. That's going to help elongate your hamstring, and it's going to take any pressure that you might be having out of your lower back. And that's a good thing. Good job. Just a few more. Let's do 3. And 2. And 1. Great job. Bring it back to the center. Maybe shake those legs out a little bit. So kind of going back to what we did a little bit in our warm-up, I want you to step your right foot forward a little bit. Make sure your body weight is on it, not just a toe tap. Come down into your RDL. Pull up and tap out. Same side again. Step forward, tip, pull up, tap out. So we have balance. We have a little bit of abduction here. Just 2 more on this side. Nice. If you want to hold on to a chair, you don't have to use the weights. Good, 1 more. Switch legs, step forward left, make sure you've got the foot planted. Hinge forward, your back knee's bent a little bit. Come up, tap, close, step, hinge, pull up, tap, close. 4 more. Good. Make sure that back leg isn't locked out. 2 more at the knee. Really squeeze your right glute when you come up. 1 more. Good. Okay, if you're good to go, you can alternate these. If you need to set your weights down for a second, take a break, you can. So your right foot's going to step forward in your tandem stance. Hinge, pull up, tap, switch feet. step, hinge, pull up, tap, switch. If the weights are getting too much, either grab a lighter pair or get rid of them altogether. Nice job. There's a lot to think about, which is why in LisaBug classes, I like to spend some time breaking down the movements and then gradually adding on those layers. And that gives you options to work with, depending on what's working for your body. So if the balance is struggling, you want to leave out the side tap, you can leave that piece out. It's up to you. 3 more on each leg. Good. Split stance RDL with hip abduction and balance. Nice job. Take your time. Perfect your form. 1 more on each side. Beautiful. And relax. Okay, I'm going to set weights down for a second. These 10s are starting to affect my forearms. Grab a drink if you have that there for you. Now with this next exercise, if you're not feeling comfortable with it or safe, you don't have to use a weight. But what I'm going to do is put a lighter weight. This is a 5 for me, but you can take something even smaller. And I'm going to tuck it behind my knee and try to hold on to it. So just hold it. If you think you're going to drop it and it's going to land on your foot, then don't go there. Now, just to hold on to this weight, I feel the hamstring engaging. So you can do this without the weight, just like we did toward the beginning of class, and we're going to push it back and push it back. Good. 2 more. Back and hold, then open that leg out and in. So just holding onto the weight is going to fire your hamstring. Keeping the knee back slightly is going to fire the glute and hamstring. And then opening the leg to the sides, firing the medial glute. Just 2 more. And 1. Then very carefully retrieve the weight. We're going to take the right foot forward, the one that we just had the weight, and then come into a little pyramid. Place your hands on the chair. They can be up on the top of the chair or down below, or if you're using a wall for balance, just walk your hands down the wall, and we're just stretching this back out after we worked it. Just a short stretch, 2 more breaths. Okay, we're going to do the same side again. So as you come up, we're going to tuck the weight behind the knee, but this time your hands are going to go down to the chair. So you're bent forward at about a 90-degree angle, and then we're going to press the weight up, working the glute. Good. Exhale, lift. Slight little bend in your standing leg. 3 more. And 2. Now, almost all the way back down. We'll hold it right about here and open it out to the side for your little fire hydrant. Looking for 8 reps. There's 3. 4. 3 more. 6. 7. And 8. Carefully come up, retrieve that weight. Now, if you don't want to use the weight, but you want to have something to hold on to, you can maybe roll up a little washcloth or something and put it behind your knee, just so you have something to grab a hold of. Okay, so let's do the left leg this time. And then grab a hold of it and stand straight up. Okay, so we're just going to, good posture, push back. Little squeeze through that glute. Stabilization of the opposite hip. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now open the leg out and in. Out and in. Looking for 8 reps. 6, 5, 4. Zip up your core, shoulder blades back. 3, eyes on the horizon. 2, and 1. Good. Retrieve that weight. And then we're going to stretch the leg we just had bent. So your left foot steps forward a little bit. Hinge forward. Bring your hands down for your little baby pyramid stretch. Focusing on elongating the back of that left leg. You can also flex your toes up. That's going to give you even a deeper stretch through the calf muscle as well. 2 more breaths. Then we'll repeat that same side again with our hinged forward position. Okay, bring it on up. Option for that weight behind the knee, or a little small washcloth or a pillow, something that you can grab onto. Hinge forward, and then push that leg up and up. I'm going to slide my weight out because I feel like it's going to get away from me on my knee replacement side. If you're not able to bend your knee that much for range of motion issues, then it makes it really difficult. 4, 3, but I still really feel it without the weight. 2, and 1. Okay, let's bring it down slightly. Open the knee out. 8, 7. Ooh, how's this hip feel? Yeah, it's talking to me. Scoop up the abs. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, retrieve that weight and stand on up. Shoulders are back. Okay, we're going to do a split stance. Sit up and down out of your chair. If you don't have a chair, you can just do a split stance squat. Options to use weight if you'd like. So I'm going to hold the weights here at the chest, but you can also hold them out in front of your body if you want some work for your shoulders. So let's have a seat in your chair, and then we're just going to stand up and down from the chair. So just lift and then sit yourself back. Now, if you're struggling sitting back down without using your hands, just set your weights down and put your hands behind you and just let yourself down with control. So we're using the glutes and the quads for these. Just 2 more. Good, 1 more. And then sit down. So our right leg is going to step forward a little bit. For now, I just want you to push your heel down into the floor and imagine you're pulling your heel back and you're just engaging the right hamstring. So pull it back, pull it back. It's an isometric exercise. It's okay for me to do because I'm on a sticky mat. If you're in carpeting, your foot might be slipping a little bit. Just try to dig it down and pull it back. A couple more seconds. And then set your foot completely flat with that staggered stance, and we're going to stand up and down 5 times. 1. I'm going to do it without weight. I feel like I need a little bit of assistance coming up. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Good. Come back down. We'll switch our split stance position. Dig your heel down into the floor. So you're going to push it down and try to pull it back. Let's hold it about 15 to 20 seconds. Now on a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably not anywhere near a 10, but you're just firing it isometrically. It's maybe about a 4, 5 maybe. Good. One more deep breath. Keep pushing down, pulling back. And then relax that contraction. Set your foot flat to the floor in your staggered stance. Now you've got to have this foot underneath your body to be able to stand up from here. You can't have your legs way out there and be able to stand up. So get them underneath you. And then we'll rise. 5. 4. If you don't have a chair, then you're doing little squats down. 3. 2. And 1. Come all the way back down into the chair. And then bring both feet out, flex your toes up, and try to pull both of your heels down and back. 15 to 20 seconds. You're feeling it right back here, behind in the hamstrings. 10 seconds. Couple more breaths. Nice job. And relax. Okay, if you have your yoga strap handy, go ahead and take hold of it, and we're going to do a seated hamstring stretch. So we'll place it under the ball of one of your feet. Doesn't matter which one you start with because we're going to get them both. And extend that leg out long. Sit really tall. And then with a nice flat back, just tip forward any amount till you feel the stretch behind the leg. So we're going to hold this and do something that's called nerve gliding. So once you get in this position, you're going to hold it, but just drop your chin down and then bring your head up and lift your chin, slightly looking back. Now, I don't want you to feel like the cervical spine is pinching, so the up part isn't huge, but just a nice gentle range of motion for your neck. So this is called nerve gliding or nerve flossing. There's a lot of uses for this in the therapeutic world and physical therapy. Let's do one more head nod. And then neutral head, and we'll come up. Great. Okay, before we switch sides, let's do our seated pigeon. So we're going to lift the same leg up, cross the ankle over the thigh. Sit tall, and this is one I need to be careful with on the new hips. So you're going to bend forward as much as you can so you can feel that stretch in the outer hip. I'm just making it really gentle here. So we're stretching through that glute, both the maximal glute as well as the medial. Couple more breaths because we're going to get a chance to do this down on the floor later toward the end of class as well. Okay, come on up and uncross. Extend the other leg long using your yoga strap. Flexing the foot, sit up tall. And then with a nice neutral spine, hinge forward until you feel the beginning of the stretch. And hold. And then we'll apply our nerve gliding. So the chin drops down and up. Even just a small range of motion for your head will give you the benefit of the nerve flossing. And it's slow and gentle movement for the neck, not too quick. Good. One more head nod. And back to neutral with the head. Come on up and let's do our seated figure 4. Cross the ankle, sit tall, and then bend forward any amount. Just some nice slow breaths. One more inhalation. And exhale and come up. One more seated stretch. We're going to take our feet pretty wide on the floor with the toes turned out slightly. This is a seated happy baby. So with a nice neutral spine, you're just going to either support here on your thighs and lean forward, or if you want to bring your hands down to a block, you know what's nice is you can use your hand weights just like little blocks here, where you can bring your hands all the way down to the floor. And we're stretching through those glutes and hips and also the lower back. Just 3 more breaths. All right, let's come all the way up. So we are going to do the exercise with the weight behind the knee as an option on your hands and knees. Now, if it's difficult for you to come down, or, Joyce, for you on that knee replacement, you might want to do it still standing up. So you can do the standing option with your hands on the chair, or let's come down to all fours with the option of putting a weight behind that knee. Okay, so once we come on down, I'm going to use that 5 again, put it behind the back of the leg, and you're going to grip it. So see how my foot came up as soon as I put it back there? I'm activating this hamstring by squeezing the weight. And then we're going to lift the leg up and down. Now we can add our bird dog here by reaching the left arm forward. So we're doing this in spinal balance, which is wonderful for the core. 3 more. And 2. And 1. Then opening that leg out to the side. 8. 7. Good. Hip abduction. 5. 4. Scoop up the abs, brace the midsection, that transverse abdominis. 2. And 1. Good. Release. Let's switch. I'm going to see if I can do it on my knee replacement side this time. I might have better luck doing this on the hands and knees. Okay, so give your weight a squeeze or a little hand towel, something you want to put back behind there, and we'll lift up. 8. 7. 5. Hamstrings and glutes are working in tandem. 4. Oh, I forgot to lift up the arm. 3. 2. 1. Open that leg out to the side for 8. Boy, I sure feel that in the abdominals. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax and retrieve that hand weight. Excellent. Okay, either take a little child's pose here, or you can take a down dog. And if you're standing up and you just did that exercise using your chair, you can put your hands on the chair, and then let's stretch those hamstrings and the posterior chain. Not a long stretch because we have more hamstring stretching to do, just a couple more breaths. All right, relax. Transition to lying on your back. And if you have a chair right here in front of you, I have an option for you to use that chair for our hamstring and glute work. So it is our bridge, but it's really fun sometimes to do your bridge with your feet up on a chair. Make sure it's not going to slip out. I have mine on my sticky mat. So option 1, your feet are just on the floor for a bridge, lifting your hips up. Or option 2, we can place our feet up on the chair. Now, what this does for us, it gives us so much more work in the hamstrings to have our legs elevated. And then we will lift and lower, looking for 8, 7, 6. Can you feel those hams working? If you're using that chair, you should be able to really feel it big time. 5 more. And you're just coming up any amount that works for you. It's just about activating the glutes. 3, 2, and 1. Come on down. Okay, let's do a quick hamstring stretch. The right leg's going to come up. You can toss your yoga strap over the bottom of the foot or just give it a pull in here. Just maybe 15, 20 seconds. Beautiful. Come back down and switch. Gentle stretch. So we're not going for maximum, just enough where you feel those muscles that we just worked are now re-elongating. Two more breaths. All right, come on down. We'll bring our feet back down to the floor. You can also try this next one with the feet elevated, but I think it works a little bit better for feet flat on the floor. We're going to come up into a bridge and then push your legs outward, but I don't want you to go so far that you roll out onto the outside of your feet. I just want you to open and close. Open, close. This is a great one if you have an elastic band or tubing that you can put around your thighs to create that workload there too. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower those hips. Let's do our figure 4 stretch here. So crossing right ankle over left. Open this knee out and then pull the knees up to your chest. I'm going to see how well I might be able to do this today. That might be all the further I want to go. Actually, I'm just going to stay with the foot on the floor. But you guys pull it up Give yourself that wonderful glute stretch. Reclining pigeon pose. Slow breaths. All right, let's switch sides. Uncross. Left ankle across right thigh. Move that knee open a bit. Option to bring both knees up to the chest. And one more breath here. Lower down, uncross. Let's get ready for our clamshell. So you're going to roll over onto one side with your knees bent about 90 degrees or so. Your feet are going to stay connected. You can use a weight here and hold it on the outside of the thigh if you'd like, and we'll rotate the knee up and close. So your feet are staying together so that this is actually an abduction with a little bit of external rotation. Another one that's great if you have a surgical tubing or elastic band around the thighs. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Okay, lift that leg up. You're going to push my chair out of the way here a little bit. You're going to rotate your knee down so your ankle is up a little higher than your knee, and then rotate your knee up. But I don't want you to move your pelvis. So this might be pretty small. It's definitely going to be small for me on these hip replacements. Keeping it in a pain-free range of motion. Now, just holding your leg up is working the medial glute. So just to keep that in place is challenging sometimes. But then adding the rotation, it's almost like that pendulum we did. Can't remember if it was Tuesday or Thursday of last week. Maybe it was in the yoga class we did the pendulum. Good. One more here. And then lower down. Okay, you can either roll to the other side. I'm going to switch other directions. So I'm still facing you forward. 2 exercises, clamshell first. Feet stay closed together, about a 90-degree bend in the knee, and then we just open and close. Optional weight to hold right here. Or if you want to do some things with your arms, you can do some rotator cuff, anything you'd like to add and enhance in your workout today. There's a little hesitation at the top so you can really engage and feel those muscles active and working. Let's get 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, the entire leg raises up. So already we're feeling the work here as we rotate the knee down and rotate it up. 8, 7, and I like the hand here so you can tell if you're rocking your hips. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and relax. Rolling back over right onto your back and having your yoga strap available for our legs up the wall. So we're going to Loop that strap under the bottom of both feet. Send the legs up. Pull down a little bit with the ball of the foot so you can flex the ankles. So if your hamstrings are tight and your knees need to bend a little, that's okay. You're just going to lose a little bit of the benefit of the stretch. So the nice thing is with the yoga strap, you can actually lower your legs a little bit so that you can keep them straight. And it might give you a little extra work for your core. So we want to keep that lower back down into the mat. Good, just about 15 seconds here, holding the stretch. Two more breaths. Okay, release that strap. We'll come into a twist, which will be a nice little hip opener. Your left leg is lengthened down onto the mat. Your right knee's up to your chest. We're going to extend your right arm to the side and then pull that right knee across the midsection. And I'm just using this hand to very gently guide this hip into a little bit of a stretch. Right shoulder blade stays down on the floor. If you'd like, you can turn your head to the right. A little bit of a spiral twist here. And one more breath. Inhale. And exhale back to the center. Good. Let's switch. Right leg elongates down. Left knee comes in. Open the left hand out. And then drag that left knee across the midline. So you've got a nice twist through the midsection as well as a gentle hip opener. Our gaze can turn to the left. And two more slow breaths. And then back to center. Two options here. Either just hug your knees into your chest, maybe with some rocking side to side, or you can take your happy baby like we did from the chair and bring your legs up. Try to reach for the bottoms of your feet. Pull your knees down toward your armpits. You can rock back and forth. You can also hold right here behind the hamstrings. And two more breaths. Good. Let's come up to a seated position. And then we'll come into our butterfly stretch, soles of the feet together. Sit tall, hinge forward any amount. It's a little bit in the low back there. Try to keep your spine pretty neutral. And then come all the way up. Let's finish with the breath together. Inhale, reach. And exhale. And everyone said, ah. Nicely done, everyone. I hope that felt good for the glutes. I would love it if you get a chance